Welcome to the official post-event press conference for BKFC 76. An incredible night here in Fort Worth, the Dickies Arena, an incredible crowd, and really, really special fights. I think it's fair to say that we probably have another new home away from home here in Texas. I expect a lot of good stuff here, and I'm sure we'll get some confirmation. We're going to hear from a lot of the winners here tonight. A lot of folks are going to be up here on this dais, a lot of questions and a lot of media in the house, and we're grateful for that. But to get things started here, let's bring up the man, the myth, the legend, the president and CEO, David Feldman.
Thanks, Cyrus. Thank you, guys. Tonight I went into the dressing room prior to the fight. I did a fighter meeting. I think this one was just hit a little different because I've been trying to come into Texas since we started this thing, and we were told no a bunch of times for the state of Texas for a bunch of different reasons. And I think tonight we showed them why they missed out all these years, and they should have brought us a little sooner. But I think that it's going to be a great relationship with us in Texas. I told the guys, I said, go fight your ass off. I say that every night. Every time we do a show, I go in the dressing room. I said, guys, what do I want you to do? They say, fight your ass off. I hit a little different tonight because I had to prove something. We had to prove something. The fighters had to prove something to Texas Commission, to the fans of Texas, that we belong here in the biggest state in the union, right? And we did it, and these guys fought their asses off. So I told everybody, you know, there was 24 fighters tonight. I gave out 18 fight your ass off bonuses. 18 fight your ass off bonuses. No other promotion in the world does that. 18 guys are leaving with extra money tonight. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fighters that they did what they had to do. We got a guy up here. Hold on. Who's this? Sorry. Thought it was the wife. That's the only one I'm going to stop for. Anyway, Cameron, Delano, PBR, bull rider, you know, took a shot, came out here, got dropped, got up, and fought his ass off. He fought his ass off, and he won. And he's going to walk away with a bonus as well. But a lot of these guys did. Fighter tonight. I mean, I was totally sold on Fighter tonight with Darren Whitney and Rodney Hitton. Like, that was Fighter tonight, all the way up until the main event. So then that became Fighter tonight. So instead of that, I'm just going to give two Fighter tonights tonight. So two Fighter tonights tonight. We had a lot of great performances. I'm not going to name every single person that I'm giving a fight your ass off bonus to, but that's a thing that we talked about for a long time. But I'm actually going to name it the fight your ass off bonus now, because if they fight their ass off, they deserve to get bonus, and they really do, because they're growing this sport for us. We fell a little short of capacity tonight. The capacity was 10,000. We were a little under that, I think around 9,400 people tonight, which is a great debut for us in Texas, and I'm very, very happy about that. We're gonna come back here. I think Texas is big enough. Like, I consider it like 4 states, 3 states maybe. Like, there's 3 different parts of Texas that we can go to, so we can come here very often, and we plan on doing that. The crowd loved it. Like I said, the fighters fought great. The commission was great, and we're very, very happy with our debut event in Texas. Any questions, guys?
Romero with Story of the Fight podcast. Just wondering, we already talked about how electric the crowd was, how much you love Texas. How do you top it with the next event when you come back to Fort Worth or Dallas or wherever you go?
I mean, you know, we've been topping it event after event. It's just what we have to do, because right when you say, man, that's the best event I've ever seen, we did Knucklemania in Philly, and everybody left that arena. They said, that's not the best fight I've ever seen. That's not the best sporting event. That's the best event I've ever seen. And we top it. We topped it again. We topped it again. We're just gonna, you know, we just work hard. We got a very, very diligent team here. A team, you know, we're a family. I mean, we really have each other's back for the most part, and we want to see this thing succeed. So we just work harder and harder every time, because we have to get to the goal, and the goal is to be the biggest and baddest combat sport on planet Earth.
Hi, Savannah with Face to Face Sports. At the press conference, you said that the 155 champion is no longer champion. Are you able to expand on that?
Yeah, so Franco Tenaglia, and I understand why, he couldn't get a visa to get here to the United States. So that's not why he got stripped of the title. But in the interim, he had to make money. He took an MMA fight outside the organization, and doesn't happen with us. If you fight outside the organization, you're going to lose your championship. And I think another champion might have done that in the interim too. And I'm not going to call it out right now, but I have to do a little research, and I think that they're going to lose their title too. We're just not playing games here. Like, people, we have to, if we want to be the biggest and the best, we have to act like we're the biggest and the best, and we have to perform like we're the biggest and the best, and we have to hold, people to the standards, and that's just the way it is.
Dave, Paul Shoiga here. I just want to say congratulations. Absolutely fantastic event. The energy was absolutely electric, and Texas looks like it fits like a glove for BKFC. So well done on that, because to do that in a state that loves sport is just absolutely spectacular. What I want to ask you is that obviously you had the main event change. 7 days notice, Ben Bonner came in. I talked to a lot of big fighters here, talked to a lot of people involved in the fight sport. They never heard of this name before, and after tonight, they're going to know who Ben Bonner is, and now he's got a bonus as well, thanks to yourself. So my question is this: how do you go to somewhere like Millsborough? He told me yesterday Millsborough's a city where, it's a tough city where breeds tough men, but how do you go and find these guys to replace it? Such a last-minute grasp, and then to make that an absolute epic fight.
I think it's just, they know the kind of sport they're getting into, and they understand that they have an opportunity to really explode here, right? Because you put on a fight like that in a boxing event or an MMA event, they're not really going to talk about it. You put it with bare knuckles, the baddest sport there is, and you put on an event like that, the world's talking about Ben Bonner right now. Everybody's talking about Ben Bonner. But let's not take it away from Tony Soto, because he's like Arturo Gatti in my mind. Like, he comes to fight every single time, and he'll keep coming back. And those guys are actually going to get a little bit of an extra bonus tonight because they really threw it down. I mean, he got dropped. Everybody thought the fight was over. He got back up, and he almost scored a knockout on Ben Bonner, and then Ben Bonner came back. I mean, phenomenal fight. Very, very happy with that. And, look, I think maybe if Ben Bonner had 30 days for that fight, maybe it would have ended, where, you never know what would have happened. But I just think I'm very happy with the involvement of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, meaning this. So we had world champions, but they were all from the United States, because we weren't really going all around the world. Now we're going all around the world. So now these world champions are really, truly going to be world champions.
Dave, Kyle Mitch from the Mike and Mitch show here. You just talked about the evolution of this sport. You recognize somebody that was here at the beginning with you, Leonard Garcia. You brought him in the ring, and you recognized him as the first ever welterweight champion for you guys. In the process, he called out Diego Sanchez. That is two legends of the combat sports world. Leonard's been out for a while, but he looks like he's in great shape, and they are both true legends of the sport. You think you can make that one happen?
I mean, fun fight. I think it has fun written all over it. I wouldn't probably put either one of those guys in against anybody else except for those guys. So I think that makes sense, and it makes a lot of sense in Albuquerque. And it's something that I think we're going to really think a little harder about this week. But, I wasn't sure that he was going to do that, but he did it. And I'm excited about that because, like I said, they're both a little past their prime. But since they're both a little past their prime, I don't think we're doing them any injustice.
Dave, first and foremost, congratulations on BKFC's 7th anniversary. My question is a little off topic. There's a tweet that's been going viral I've seen between Josh Thompson and Nate Diaz. What's the possibility of that fight coming to fruition?
I mean, I talked to Nate a bunch of times, and obviously Nate Diaz is a warrior, but he gets cut a lot, and that's his fear of bare knuckle, just getting cut too much. But I think a lot of people are calling him out right now in bare knuckle, and I think I'm going to have a conversation with him this week. So we'll see how that one goes. But we have a phenomenal, unbelievable event that we're going to announce this week. It's going to be our biggest event that we've ever done. Where I think it's going to draw massive pay-per-view numbers. It's going to be a massive, massive event for us. It takes us just into another level.
I think a little bit of an underdog fight tonight that we saw was Rodney Hinton versus Darren Whitney. What was your take on that fight?
I mean, unbelievable, man. I was jumping up and down. I don't know, they showed my face, like, jumping up and down like I was like a little kid in a candy store, man. That's the difference. Like, I love this sport, and I love these athletes. I truly do. I mean, look, some of them are assholes because that's just the way it is in the world. Not everybody's great people, right? But these guys risk their fucking lives for us, for the fans, for me, and they're going to be rewarded. And I'm happy as hell to get guys like that came out there, let it all on the line for Texas. for myself, and because of that, they're going to walk home, with extra money. And they both said to me, because they came and they're like, I said, oh, and then we had the other one. No, that one. And they both came to me, and I just went like that, and they were like that, and they're like, I need it so bad, and I said, I'm going to give you a little extra. So I'm not saying I'm saving the world here, but if I tell you I'm going to fight your ass off, I'm going to bonus you, I'm going to bonus you.
Christopher DeSantiago with BloodyElbow.com. Kenzie Morrison had a phenomenal performance tonight. I mean, he already carries a name and he carries those massive skills. I guess what is the ceiling for a guy like Kenzie Morrison?
Well, I had a real special guy sitting next to me during that fight. He's a former Bellator fighter, WWE heavyweight champ, Bobby Lashley, and he looked over at me and he goes, now that's the fight I want. So, I mean, look, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's kind of interesting. And, we'll see what's next for Kenzie. Kenzie is like just one of the nicest guys I've ever met in combat sports, just such a nice guy. The only downside of Kenzie is he needs to talk a little more shit, so I'm gonna get him to do that. But phenomenal guy, can fight, can punch, and look, he's got a future here.
Ladies and gentlemen, your president.
Thanks, guys.
Dave Feldman.
Cameron, Mish from Mike and Mish Show over here. We talked earlier, but you come from one of the toughest sports in the world in pro bull riding. You stepped in and you felt the bare knuckle hit the face. You got dropped. You showed resilience. You showed your toughness, and you looked like a real true pro out there. Is this a long-term thing for you?
Oh, absolutely. Once I got in there and I got hit with that first punch, I was like, oh, yeah, we're in for a show. He dropped me, and I got up, and I was like, this is not about to be another night of me getting my butt whooped and sparring. So I was like, I got to end it in the third round. I got to the corner on that third round, and they said, hey, you got to win this round. So I gave it everything I had. Yeah, thank you.
Cameron, after speaking with you yesterday, you guaranteed a knockout victory, and that came true. How does that make you feel with your performance tonight?
Yeah, it makes me feel good. I mean, I wanted to knock him out in the first round. But like I said, we had 7 weeks training for this. So I can only imagine for my next fight, we'll get better and better each day. I'm dedicated to everything that I do, whether it's bull riding or football or now bare knuckle. So, yeah, like I said, I feel like I have a home here. I love to get hit in the face, as weird as it sounds. So I was like, let's do it. Let's keep going and see what I can do for the next fight.
Christopher DeSantiago with BloodyElbow.com. What was the best thing about going through your first BKFC fight week, and how do you plan on celebrating in Fort Worth, Texas?
Man, I don't know. I'm tired. I definitely feel the swelling coming on now. At first I didn't, but I was pumped. Going through the training camp wasn't as bad for the weight cut because I started cutting weeks ago. I didn't want to wait till last minute to cut. I was 201 pounds 7 weeks ago. I was jacked, and I was like, I need to cut weight drastically. So I changed my diet. I was doing 2-a-days, 3-a-days at the gym, 7 days a week. I was committed. And I told David a long time ago, when I come here, I'm coming here to make a statement. So that's what I did.
Saf from Global Fight Talk. It was definitely not an easy finish. You really had to dig deep to get him out of there. Were you impressed by his toughness?
I was, yeah. It hit me with that check hook when I came in, and I was like, son of a gun, man. We already knew he threw a double jab. There wasn't much film on him, but we knew he didn't have anything on me. So when he started lunging, I was able to start gauging his distance. Like I said, I'm just beginning in this sport. So as time goes on, I'll learn more and more. I got a lot to learn. We know where I went wrong at. I had my hands down a lot in this fight. And but when he started, lunging forward, I was able to step back, start hitting him with some uppercuts. And, yeah, he's a very tough guy. I talked to him in the stitching room, and all the respect to Jesse.
Romero with Story of the Fight podcast. So you had mentioned that you started training about 7 weeks ago, preparing for the fight. 30 pounds, I believe, is what you said you dropped, right?
Yes, sir.
So the preparation has been immense. What was the biggest thing that surprised you once you actually got in there? And you had already mentioned some of the adjustments you have to make as far as keeping your hands up, but anything else that you feel like you really have to work on going into the next fight?
Well, to be honest, I've had my street fights over the years, and stuff like that. I've never actually been clean hit in the face except by my brother, So it was like, once he hit me with that jab, I was like, okay, that don't hurt as bad. Then he hit me with that check hook, like I said, and I was like, we're not doing that again. So I definitely would say, it took me some adjusting to get to. Like I got a lot to learn, man. And I'm thankful for all my coaches, everybody that's trusted in me and believed in me along this journey. And I just want to see how far and how better I get as each day goes by.
Hey Cam, it's Paul here. When we met in Clearwater, there was putting it together about this event. What is the difference between waiting in that chute to go out into the rodeo and doing that walk out there? Because you look very comfortable in the walkout. What is the difference?
Yeah, I didn't even realize they didn't play my walkout song. As I was walking out, I was so dialed in and focused. All I could think about was my little girl, my little boy at home. I was looking at videos and pictures of them backstage. I got emotional right before I walked out, and we had a little prayer, and I was walking out, and I just vibe with the crowd. So I had to make sure I heard the crowd cheering, so that way I knew where I was at. And like I said, that third round fight, I knew I had to come for a finish, and so that's what we did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Delano.
Thank you.
Delano.
Kenzie, Mish from Mike and Mish over here. You looked amazing tonight. And I know that you're a heavyweight, but I was wondering, and I know you got called out by Bobby Lashley, who's a massive heavyweight. You're 217. Is heavyweight your permanent home, or could you drop to 205 and maybe challenge Chris Camozzi?
Well, I definitely think that I wouldn't have a problem dropping weight. But I did this weight cut on purpose to try to lose some body fat in order to build back up, to become a more powerful heavyweight. So I think we're going to try that first, and if that don't work out, we'll maybe go down.
Hi, Savannah with Face to Face Sports. How was the transition for you going from a sport that is gloved to non-gloved to bare knuckle?
Well, I didn't have a real long time to digest it. I got hit 2 or 3 times. It definitely feels different than a boxing glove, but it's something I think I can get used to.
Sab from Global Fight Talk. The jab was automatic. What can you attribute that to?
Man, that was the game plan. They were like, man, you got a strong, hard jab. You stand behind it, keep your face safe. And the 3 times I tried to throw a different punch, I got hit. So I went right back to the jab, and it helped me.
Kenzie Morrison, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Anthony Garrett, Romero with Story of the Fight podcast. 3 fights, 3 first-round knockouts, right? What does that preparation look like going into this fight?
Just try to stay focused 24/7 when you're going into these moments. You never know what's going to happen. I got dropped. I got challenged tonight and battle tested and persevered through and got the finish. So that's all that really matters.
Speaking of getting dropped, that was my question. How mindful are you in that moment? Are you thinking about fighting in your hometown, turning the fight around? What's going through your mind?
I got fucking pissed, and I said it's not happening. No, and I just started swinging. I bit down on my mouthpiece and took his fucking head off. So yeah, it was a good time though. And all respect to Hayes, I love him. He's a good dude. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations as a hometown man. How does it feel, the fact that you're part of this first ever BKFC in your hometown, in your home state?
It's not my home state. Kansas is my home state, Kansas City, Kansas. But I do claim Texas now because my daughter Lucy Jo's here, and that's all that matters to me. But it was incredible. The atmosphere was electric. The crowd was going nuts, and wonderful experience. It was a dream come true.
Anthony, now, like he mentioned over there, that you're 3-0. It's time that the rest of the heavyweight division starts recognizing who you are. Is there somebody in the division that you would like to fight next to maybe get yourself to 4-0 and move to the top 5 in that division?
Any of them. Mick Terrell's number 1. He needs a comeback fight. I'll give it to him. That's the only one I can really think of. And I respect him to death, and I'd love to welcome him back after the quick loss to Ben. But if he's got something else planned, that's cool. I'll fight whoever BKFC needs me to fight. I'm down for whatever.
Anthony Garrett, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mish from the Mike and Mish show over here. You stepped into a new combat sport after many years of dominating other sports. This is a different animal. What were your thoughts going through your mind when the headbutts kept coming in and they weren't stopping? You did adjust and finish him at towards the end, but those headbutts just would not stop. What was going through your mind?
You know what? I think all these 2 cuts, what I got right now, is because of headbutts, but it's fucking whole different world. Last time I had bare knuckle fighting back, I don't know, 30 years ago, and definitely. My manager, my trainer, give me some shit right now about my performance, but victory is victory, and definitely have a lot of work. I need a lot of work to do back in this gym.
Andrei Romero with Story of the Fight podcast over here. At the end, we saw Ben Rothwell go in there, and it seems like that's the next fight to make. You go for a handshake, he kind of blows that off. Any bad blood boiling there? And how soon do you think you'd be able to get back in there against Ben?
First of all, it's totally up to my manager, up to BKFC. But I think he has already one fight lined up. I would love to fight somebody else, and before I'm gonna face Ben. But yeah, why not? Like Nike, just do it. I would love to dance with him in BKFC arena.
When he got in the ring, he said if you fight like that again, he was going to end your career. I couldn't really hear your response.
I lost count how many people want to fucking end up my MMA career or boxing career, wherever it is. But like I said before, my trainer and my manager are not happy about my performance. I didn't watch fight yet, but I'm sure it's a lot of shit I need to fix. I still have a lot of work to do. If I want to be a champion, definitely it's not how I fought today. It's not going to be title fight for sure. But since God, I still have fire in my eyes, and I'm like Nike, just do it, you know.
Andre, Ricky with Patch Boys Podcast. I just want to ask a question. So coming from UFC to the bare knuckle, was the crowd different? Do you feel the energy the same, or how's that feel for you?
I was surprised. People kind of like me, you know, and I'm grateful. Listen, I think it's a great state of Texas and great as Florida. So people nice here. A lot of people came to support me, and my friends came from Chicago, from Hawaii, support me. I'm very happy, and yeah, I'm blessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrei Arlovski.
Ben Mish from the Mike and Mish show over here. I see you still haven't found a shirt since you've been here in Texas. Congratulations on the win. You went 5 rounds with a guy who lives for 5-round fights. What do you got to say after you dropped Tony in the first 2 rounds and he just keeps coming back at you? What do you got to say about your opponent tonight?
Listen, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for Tony Soto. He is one hard man. Listen, I've put people away with shots less than that before. He's got a granite chin, you know, he keeps coming and coming. And there was an interview before the fight where I said he wouldn't be able to take the punishment I dish out. Listen, fair play to him. He's one rough and tough man. I have no doubt he'll come back stronger. I was the better man on the night. And all I will say is, if I had a full camp, I would have put him out in the first round. I wholeheartedly believe that. I'm here on 8 days' notice. And I've won the world title on 8 days' notice, I believe. If I'd had a full 8 to 12 weeks, that fight would have been over in the first round. But again, that's no disrespect to Tony, and I'm not taking any away from him as a fighter. I just believe and I know I'm the baddest man on the planet at 155, and there's no one that's going to come close to me on a full camp. Not a single man. Not Franco, not Palomino, not no one. I'll wipe them all clean out in one single round on a full camp.
Follow-up question there. When you guys were waiting for the decision, did you know 100% that you won that fight when it ended?
Brother, I knew. I'm a bad man. I knew.
Ben, we talked yesterday, and you said that tough men come from tough cities. Middlesbrough is a very tough city. How does it feel to put the likes of Middlesbrough back on the map in the fight world?
Brother, listen to me. You know, Middlesbrough was voted the roughest town in the UK, and I'm from the roughest estate in that town, Groveville. And I've never been more proud of my roots. Never been more proud to represent Middlesbrough on the map. I'm honestly, I absolutely love my town. I love the people there. People can say what they want about Middlesbrough. You know, home is where the heart is. And I know the amount of support I've got from Middlesbrough, from messages to everyone in every single pub in the city, in the town. It's the fight was on in every pub. Every man, woman, and his dog was watching this fight tonight. And I'm so glad that I've done everyone in Middlesbrough proud. The people don't know how much the support from Middlesbrough means to me, especially when you're flying out to the States on 8 days' notice. Like my main man Lou Hughes just said there, up the borough.
Hi, Savannah with Face to Face Sports. So, you know, with you being the interim champion, who is somebody that you're calling out next?
Listen, Savannah, I don't need to call anyone out. I'll let them call me out. I'm the number one. I'm the baddest man. And listen, you know, Tony Soto was ranked number 1 in the world behind Franco previously. And I've just dismantled him on 8 days' notice. I believe with the power I've got, I can knock out any man, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, cruiserweight, at heavyweight. I believe if I land right on someone's chin, they're going to go to sleep. And on a full camp, I'll stop any man in the lightweight division. Absolutely any man.
Ramiro right here with Story of the Fight podcast. First off, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Your hand speed seemed to be a huge advantage for you, especially in the first 3 rounds. Was there anything else that you feel attributed to your victory tonight?
Listen, I've got, there's one man here, Craig Moffat. He's right here, he's my coach, my head trainer. He put a game plan in place tonight. We knew what we were doing, we knew what we were coming with. And I executed that game plan down to a T, and that's why I'm sat here now. Without that man, without Gary Fox, without Lou Hughes in my corner tonight, I probably wouldn't be sat here. You know, the way I look at it is like this. You know, they're playing the joypad, and I'm just the character on the screen. You know what I mean? It's their plan. It's their plan that I'm executing. Yeah, and if I do it right and I do it well, I trust my life in the hands of these people. And if they tell me to go do something, then I'm going to go and do it, believing that I'm going to win. And tonight I proved that's right.
Christopher De Santiago with Bloody Elbow. Franco Tenaglia is no longer the BKFC lightweight champion, and you know this fight was for the interim championship. So I guess my question is, why aren't you the undisputed champion?
You know, there was a conversation beforehand in the previous press conference, I think, where David Feldman had said about a 4-man tournament. And the main title is going to be on the line in the 4-man tournament, £500,000 tournament, I think it was. And I've just cemented my spot in that tournament. Listen, I'm the interim champion now, which means I'm the fucking baddest man on the planet at 155. And when we go into this 4-man tournament, I'm going to wipe the other 3 clean out. Make no mistake about that. I'll be on a full camp, prepared and ready for war, as I always am.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes BKFC 76 press conference. Live from Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you guys for coming.